I am an actor, not a celebrity. Acting is the foundation of my existence. Endorsement, variety shows don't mean much to me, add money. Cough, please contact my agent, keywords of the novel. Huayu 2005 No pop-ups, Huayu 2005 TXT Complete Collection Download, Huayu 2005 Latest Chapter Reading. Chapter 1. Lu Yuan. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Chapter 1. Lu Yuan in 2005, Hengdian. In the scorching summer of July, it is warm and hot, making people blush and wet their clothes. The willows on the roadside are withering, and summer cicadas are chirping on the trees. Lu Yuan crouched under the tree, dazed by the light curtain in front of him. Name. Lu Yuan, honor value. 1. Can extract dreams. 0. Dreams extracted. The fate history of selling fish. Progress 40%, after finishing work at noon, this light curtain that only he could see appeared in front of him. The initial honor value was 11, and the number of dreams that could be drawn was 1. There is a sign of a door on the right side of the extractable dream. The door was very small, and he stared for a long time, trying to push it with his consciousness. In a daze, the door was pushed open, and then he had a vague dream. In his dream, he became a famous fish dealer and raised his younger siblings by relying on the fish stalls in the market. He stands tall after the passing of the year and achieves nothing. Without accidents, he will guard the stall and live alone until old age. But fate played tricks on people, and by chance, he became involved in the underworld. Take my little brother, worship Godfather, and transform into a master. He also met the woman who made him fall in love with. She had fiery red lips and a heroic demeanor. When we first met, she tightly wrapped her belt around his neck, making him gasp for breath. At that moment, the neck was tied, but the heart was tied. He became hopelessly infatuated with this cold and aloof woman. She appears strong, but with a touch of softness. At the age of 30, my wrist is agile and fragrant like a peach. Having a general understanding, knowing how to move forward and backward, charming and versatile, capable of anything. Interpreting customs, having charm, acting coquettishly and cute makes people drunk. I'm almost there. Hey, a cicada chirping, woke up from a dream. If that big wife says no, then it's gone. The warm wind blows, and the green leaves rustle. This is the sound of the wind, but it fills the summer with joy. The cicadas chirped happily on the tree, but Lu Yuan felt quite restless. The more he thought, the angrier he became. He stood up and kicked the tree trunk fiercely. This damn cicada is disturbing people's clear dreams. What is it called? It can't even get married, it deserves to be single. The cicada was startled and dispersed in a flurry. Drips of water scattered on the tree, with a hint of coolness and stickiness. This is the cicada's answer. Gone. He scattered his feet and fled in despair. The Marriott Hotel is located on Danglong Road, less than 100 meters away from the actor service department, and most of the Hengdian group performances are waiting here. At this moment, a group of people gathered in front of the hotel in 2s and 3s, some wearing dragon robes and smoking cigarettes, while others had black suspenders exposed on their shoulders. Lu Yuan stood in the shade, reaching out to wipe off the sweat from his forehead. The high temperature in July made him gasp for breath. Compared to these group performances, he is undoubtedly lucky. The reputation of a student from Beijing University has given him a relatively high starting point in the entertainment industry. The reason for choosing Beijing University was very simple. His high school grades were not ideal, and he was just a little short of Tsinghua and Peking University. He used to be a top student, but later he wanted to take a walk in the world of scumbags, only to accidentally break his leg. This is a sad story. In his third year of high school, his family racked their brains for his future. His father said if he couldn't pass the exam, he would repeat it. Every year is always better than every year. Uncle Air smiled and said, it's better to exercise more. There are countless paths in life, but if it's not possible, let's rely on our waist. As for his sister, that old woman suggested that he become a monk. My mother is still reliable. She thinks her son's appearance is very similar to the star she liked when she was young. He played Huayu and his name is Zunlong. It's better to become an actor. In 2001, it was reported by the media that when celebrity Zhao Wengui was filming a TV drama, he was quoted 100,000 yuan per episode. Actors are a lucrative industry, and Lu Yuan readily agrees. In 2002, at the age of 18, he smoothly passed the entrance exam to Beijing University with a face. During his college years, a classmate in his class was on fire, and many crew members came to admire him. Lu Yuan naturally received many invitations due to his outstanding appearance. But he didn't agree. It's not about waiting for a price to sell, but the value of a person lies in their self-awareness. When they first entered school, they didn't know how to play any roles. Someone advised him to become famous early on, as there are only so many opportunities. If you don't seize it, it's someone else's. People are always so blind and follow the crowd. How many people know that Eileen Chang's lifelong talent only lasted for those few years, flashing like smoke and fire? Life is a practice, emphasizing the importance of a natural outcome. Compared to the dazzling brilliance of achieving success as a young man, Lu Yuan prefers to watch the clouds open and see the moon bright, with bitterness first and sweetness later. Why do flowers bloom early? When spring comes, the grass turns green. In the actor industry, there is no real talent, and fame is like that tide, coming and going quickly. It will become popular with one shot, provided that you do a good job. In his freshman year, Lu Yuan made a good plan. During my freshman to junior years, I did not go out to play and focused on studying theoretical knowledge at school. During the summer vacation, you can go to Hengdian as a group performer to hone your acting skills and earn some living expenses. He plans to complete his college courses in 3 years, and in his senior year, he will focus on filming. Year after year, the seasons flow like a stream. In the blink of an eye, it has been 3 years. Hey, what are you thinking here? A middle-aged man squatted next to Lu Yuan with a cigarette in his mouth, and spat a cigarette ring at him in a contemptuous manner. While smoking, it's bothering me. Lu Yuan waved his hand to dispel the smell of smoke in front of him. Why, can't it be a breakup? I haven't seen you have a girlfriend either. I don't have a girlfriend, my wife has one. Hey, what does my wife look like? How big is it? Lu Yuan shook his head, but couldn't remember. He can only remember the general outline of the content in the dream, while the details become blurred. No longer making things difficult for himself, he turned his head to look at the person coming. The middle-aged man's name is Lao Chen. He is in his 40s and has been working in Hengdian for quite some time. He has a creepy appearance and is good at playing roles like perverts. I heard he used to be a teacher. In the summer of 2003, Lu Yuan met him when he first came to Hengdian. Seeing him still wearing yesterday's clothes and not coming to pick up the show in the morning, Lu Yuan could roughly guess what he did last night. So he casually asked, I didn't see you in the morning, why did you go for fast food again last night? Charity, charity. Old Chen glanced and answered solemnly. I'm quite old. Don't be a milkman, just leave at the door. You know what? A person who doesn't even have a girlfriend is not worth discussing with me about their identity. Lu Yuan. Oh, how could this person speak with all their heart? Just as he was about to retaliate, he saw old Chen take his last puff of cigarette, twist out his cigarette butt, and bounce towards the trash can. Bayu no hit. The goods got up and picked up the cigarette butt again, then ran back and bounced back. Lu Yuan lowered his head and glanced at the ground, but didn't see anything to take advantage of. Naive. He snorted with some disdain. Old Chen raised his lips slightly and asked, recently, there is a TV drama called The Legend of Sword and Fairy, which is quite popular. Have you watched it? I watched it a long time ago. It will start broadcasting at the end of January, and it's already July. Do you know? It doesn't seem to be very popular, does it? When this drama first started airing, Lu Yuan watched it and even received an apple from his roommate Luo Jin. Well, the drama is just average. I only remember that the apple was particularly sour that day. You mind what I watch for a few months? Lu Yifei is your classmate, right? Yeah, didn't I tell you before? We're in the same class. Old Chen picked up his cigarette butt and silently threw it into the trash can. He turned to look at Lu Yuan and sneered, "Look, they are also from Beijing. How come they are so popular, but you are still performing in Hengdian? Don't you envy them? Don't you feel ashamed in the dead of night?" Lu Yuan remained silent. Old Chen's mouth, but he's right, that proud and charming girl has indeed become popular in the past 2 years. In 2002, when Lu Yuan gang enrolled, he was still at the age when he would bend over when he saw a beautiful senior. Who would have thought that before his freshman year ended, he had already gained fame in the circle? At the age of 15, she was from a wealthy family and played the role of a wealthy heiress in the drama, partnering with a young student named Chen Kuan. Although her performance was not particularly stunning, it was still reasonable. And the following 2 scenes were the beginning of her unparalleled journey. In 2003, Wang Yuyan from Tianlong Babu and Zhao Linger from Xianjian Qixia Zhuan at the beginning of this year. These 2 characters were portrayed vividly by her, as if they were cute characters from a book. The sound of my cousin, the sound of my carefree brother, makes my ears itch. Muron Fu, you are confused. My classmate is so popular, it's hypocritical to say that I don't envy him. But if you lose, you don't lose. Lu Yuan retorted, yeah, it's just a big difference between being born to both parents. Some people can get into Beijing with their faces, while others are still acting perverts in Hengdian when they're almost 40 years old. Are you saying it's strange? Old Chen paused as he lit his cigarette. Yeah, there are still people in their 20s who don't have girlfriends. Lu Yuan. I can't chat this day. The effort of 2 people arguing has gradually increased the number of predecessors at Marriott Hotel. A group of people were shouting, "Anti-Japanese drama, you need to be tall," with 5 prospects and 1 special appointment. Hurry up and hurry up. As soon as the words fell, the group performers swarmed around. The group leader was carrying people, and when they saw a bulky group performer squeezing in front of him with his body shape, he showed a slight dissatisfaction and said, "Did the food be so good at that time? You came to cause trouble with your body shape, right?" Pang Kun was not satisfied with the performance and spoke loudly, "I can play the role of a little devil. I can speak Japanese. Oh, could you say a few words and listen?" Yasak. Rolling calf. Punctuan shrunk his neck and retreated to the side with a dejected expression. The group leader who was shouting, Lu Yuan, also knew him. After running 2 steps closer, he said, "Brotherly, can you see if I can make a special appointment?" Li Gu turned around and squinted his eyes, saying, "Okay, that's okay. But didn't Sun Peng ask you to save the scene? I just saw that he was quite anxious, why didn't you go? Find me to save the scene, when? I don't know," Lu Yuan frowned. "Not long after, when I passed by the Qingming River map, I ran into him and chatted with him for a while." "Look at your phone, is it that the phone hasn't answered?" Lu Yuan quickly took out his phone. The mobile phone brand is Nokia, which has been very popular in the past 2 years, with 2 main words. Resistant to falling. He has always believed that this company will take a pill sooner or later. The phone is so durable that it can last for 10 years without users switching to a new one. How can the company grow? High-quality chives are not good, confused. Pressing the wake up button did not respond, but after restarting, it displayed several missed calls. Just as I was about to call back, the screen went black again. Okay, this time there's really not a drop left. Thank you, brotherly. I'll treat you to a drink another day. With a greeting, Lu Yuan turned around and left. Old Chen, your phone is out of battery. I'll borrow it from you. Here, what's going on? Old Chen handed over his phone and looked up, the sunlight piercing his brow. It said that Sun Peng came to me to save the scene. I'll make a phone call and ask specifically what's going on. Lu Yuan took the phone and flipped through it twice, then asked, by the way, what was the name you left a note for Sun Peng? Peng Niao. Hey, you old Chen. The phone was quickly dialed, and Lu Yuan didn't talk anymore. He said, brother, I'm Lu Yuan. Li Gu said you're looking for me. Is there anything wrong? My phone ran out of battery and turned off. Lu Yuan, Qingming Shanghe 2 base. Jianghu is in urgent need, come quickly. Brother, on my end. Lu Yuangang was about to say that there was no problem on his end when the other end of the phone shouted, add money. Okay. The new book set sail, get on the train. Seeking collection, various tickets, thank you for your support. End of this chapter. Chapter 2. Yuanfang Do Not. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 2. Yuanfang Do Not. How do you say it? Old Chen asked absent-mindedly, his gaze following the graceful figure ahead. It sounds quite urgent. On the Qingming River map, there was no mention of what the play was. Your background in Beijian is different, and you truly deserve to be the king of Hengdian rescue. Due to his strong business capabilities and attractive appearance, Lu Yuan has gained a small reputation in Hengdian and is nicknamed the king of rescue field. As soon as Lao Chen finished speaking, Lu Yuan quickly waved his hand and said, I dare not take it for granted. That was everyone's recommendation, and I can also play some ordinary roles. Challenging roles like perverts and perverts still depend on you. After speaking, Lu Yuan applied oil to the soles of his feet and prepared to run away. Old Chen laughed and said, yes, this is talent. Our temperament, our appearance. Hey, are you guys cursing me around the corner? Gone, don't run if you have the guts. There are numerous group performances in Hengdian, with nearly 40,000 registered members in the Actors Guild alone. Hengdian Grand Stage, come and pursue your dreams, one sentence showcases the essence of horizontal drifting. And these 40,000 group performances are divided into 3 categories. Regular group performances, prospects, and special arrangements. The minimum requirement for regular group performances is to be at the bottom level of Hengdian, as long as it is a person, and there is basically no chance of appearing in public. Expect a slightly higher prospect, show your face, no dialogue, similar to a vase, just look good. Special appointments have dialogue, divided into big special and small special. Xiaoda refers to groups with distinct characteristics. Fat, short, with a lewd face, a long beard, and an abstract appearance, can all be considered small talents. Those like Lao Chen who look good enough to ward off evil are among them. As for Date, it requires a certain level of acting skills, a solid foundation in dialogue, a cinematic sense, and the ability to find a spot. Lu Yuan is a great talent. With his background in Beijian, his appearance, and acting skills, he is not lacking opportunities in Hengdian. Lu Yuan ran eastward along Denglong Road, then turned left and entered Qingqing Road. 100 meters away is the Qingming Shanghe map base. In front of the main gate of the base, the group leader Sun Peng wore a duckbill cap and looked at the intersection from time to time with a bitter face. After seeing Lu Yuan, he was overjoyed and greeted him with a smile. Lu Yuan stopped, panting slightly. Just as he was about to wave his hand and say hello, he was grabbed by Sun Peng who arrived. Quick, the martial arts instructor on the set is urging. Lu Yuan's breathing was rapid and he begged for mercy, brother, please slow down. You must tell me what kind of drama it is first. Have you watched Detective D. Rengia, who premiered on CCTV in August last year? I've seen it. The plot is good, especially the episode, Headless General, in Bloody Eagle. To be honest, I was scared. I remember setting a record for single episode ratings on CCTV last year. This drama is being filmed as a sequel in Hundian. Is this drama also going to have a sequel? It's not necessary, it's already done. It's normal to make a sequel and make money. For the filming of the sequel, Lu Yuan quite understands. After all, the first one became popular, and the sequel was just a matter of picking up money. But he is not optimistic about the quality of the second part. After all, real-life examples are right in front of us. Back then, Huanju became popular in Asia, and now even the third installment has been filmed. However, the lead actors have changed, and the plot direction is not to mention. Can this be good? No wonder his mother scolded while watching at home. The essence of making a sequel to a TV drama is different from making a sequel to a TV drama because the story is not finished. Sun Peng looked at his watch and continued, the previously scheduled special appointment couldn't make it, so I had to urgently invite you to come and save the scene. What scene? You play the role of Qianniuwei in the drama and have an action scene with Li Yuanfang. Wait, brother, please clarify what action drama is. Sun Peng turned around with a strange expression and said, it's just a simple fighting scene that showcases Li Yuanfang's unparalleled martial arts. What do you think? That's it. With a false alarm, Lu Yuan breathed a sigh of relief. It's not his fault for thinking too much. Recently, his older sister's taste has become a bit peculiar. A few days ago, she even sent him some strange links. Damn it, why is this thing on display? Fortunately, I got married and felt sorry for my brother.in.law for a second. Detective D. Rengia 2 Crew. In the dressing room, Lu Yuan changed into a costume and sat down. The makeup artist applied it skillfully on his face, but the smell of the headgear was quite strong and smelly. Sun Peng sat aside and talked about the upcoming play. After drinking tea and finishing his makeup, Lu Yuan followed the production team into the set. Inside the venue, Ganyi held up the radio and followed the actors slowly as they moved. Several leading actors were playing, but Lu Yuan's gaze was drawn to Mr. D. Without it, when Lord D bent down, the waist of the costume suddenly broke open. As the lead actor, D. Rengia was dressed in a silver and blue official robe, with a protruding belly and a hint of joy in his majesty. It's just that the clothes are cracked. This prop set is not good. D. Pang doesn't want face. In front of the rockery, Mr. D carried his hands behind his back and walked in a zigzag gait, analyzing the case with a smack. After finishing speaking, he stroked his beard and looked at Yuanfang, asking, Yuanfang, what is your opinion on this matter? Li Yuanfang stood on his left side, quite cooperative, bowing with a sincere expression. Your Excellency is truly a divine person. That's right, that's the taste. This was not over yet. A serious-looking official next to him, who had long beards, took the conversation and said, such a complex and convoluted case is as amusing as talking to the old man. It is truly awe-inspiring. The old man is truly a divine being. Pooh, I really didn't see it. Looking at his thick eyebrows and big eyes, he turned out to be a bearded horse patter. Following the production team, Lu Yuan met the other 7,000 bull guards and Wu Ji. The scene this time is a bit more complicated, in which he will team up with 7 other military leaders and face off against Li Yuanfang. Well, 1 out of 8, the result was a complete defeat. Mr. Li is truly a divine being. After greeting, Wu Ji pulled the 8 people and began to gesture. It's about stick technique, but it's actually quite rough. After all, it's a TV drama that focuses on solving plot cases, and we can't expect action scenes to produce cinematic quality. Everyone is practicing. A few minutes later, Zhang Zijian walked over wearing a crimson costume. Slender and tough, with a high and straight nose bridge, and a sense of righteousness in the eyebrows and eyes. He is actually kind and greeted everyone with a smile, without any airs. "Hello, teacher." "Hello, teacher Zijian." Everyone put down their long sticks and responded one after another. 9 people rehearsed several times together. Zhang Zijian was skilled in his movements, and Lu Yuan was the only special agent among the 1,000 bull guards, with the most moves. After a few rounds, Zhang Zijian patted Lu Yuan's shoulder and said with a smile, "You must be Lu Yuan, act well." Lu Yuan was stunned. How could Zhang Zijian know his name? Talking to him alone means a few things, and they are not familiar with each other either. One is a popular celebrity, and the other is a peripheral figure in the film and television industry. In this utilitarian circle, Lu Yuan does not believe that he can establish a relationship with the other party. Isn't it, right? "Hello Yuanfang, how are you? Although I'm just a small group performer, I don't have much background. Although holding on to the wall and stepping on the bed, no matter how painful it is stronger than performing in groups. But I don't sell myself as a performer. Is it okay to change to an older sister?" Lu Yuan was panicked, but the surface work still needed to be done. He respectfully replied, "Thank you, Teacher Zhang. I will work hard." The first ancient costume film I have watched was The White Eyebrow Hero, and I really enjoyed your performance in it. I feel very honored to have the opportunity to play with you this time. Zhang Zijian was surprised that The White Eyebrow Hero was one of his early plays and did not have many roles. This kid has done his homework. Zhang Zijian accidentally heard the casting director mention that in the upcoming scene, there was a young special agent who was a student at Beijing University and had some fame in Hengdian. He called himself the King of Hengdian's Rescue. That's why he decided to come and take a look. Coincidentally, he and director Qian Yanxiu both graduated from Beijing University. Zhang Zijian made his debut early and has been fluctuating in the entertainment industry for nearly a decade, gaining a clear understanding of the essence of this circle. Having acting skills alone is useless. You also need to have connections. If you lift someone's hand today, maybe they can give you a hand tomorrow. If you want to keep going in this circle, it's best to show mercy everywhere. Even if it's a young seedling, you need to irrigate it in advance. It's just a matter of a few minutes. Although the role of Li Yuanfang made him popular last year, it was only temporary and he had a clear understanding of himself. After Zhang Zijian finished speaking, he turned around and left. The other group performers were envious. But Lu Yuan was a bit panicked, he couldn't figure out the other party's path. About 20 minutes later, the theater management notified the group performers to enter. Stand in your respective positions. The recording teacher shouted, "Everyone is quiet." The pole master is in position, and the radio is raised above everyone. The director sat behind the monitor and signaled to start. Record making board. Action. In the school arena, Li Yuanfang stood in front of everyone in a golden robe, with her back to the others. 8 army leaders were behind him, waving long sticks in their hands, and the sound of the sticks rustled. Li Yuanfang turned around, her face calm and composed. Lu Yuan took a step forward, swept horizontally with his stick, and directly attacked the lower plate. Unexpectedly, Li Yuanfang was already on guard and lifted his foot to step on the attacking army stick, using his strength to turn back. Flipping. I didn't turn it over. Ka, on the double. The director shouted with a loudspeaker. This continuous backflip requires at least a few years of skill, but Zhang Zijian really can't do it. Fortunately, there is a presence on the crew called Wu Dai. Wu came on as a substitute, skillfully performing a backflip, and Jin Yuanfang came on again. Arrange according to the position of Wu Dai before leaving. Record making board. Yuanfang quickly waved her hands, and 2 military leaders beside her fell to the ground in coordination. At this moment, the remaining people saw that the situation was not good, looked at each other, formed a formation together, and pressed Yuanfang under the stick. Lu Yuan swam alone on the side, taking advantage of the opportunity to raise his stick and attack again, but the other party had already been guarding him. An accidental army stick was taken away, and Li Yuanfang suddenly stood up with his stick, sweeping across with his long stick, causing everyone to fall one after another. It's quite surreal, actually I haven't encountered it at all. Li Yuanfang's martial arts skills are beyond the limit in the drama. Hey! But why are you so skilled and afraid of ghosts? After a long time, everyone got up from the ground, and Li Yuanfang smiled silently with a deep expression on her face. At this point, motivated subordinates should know how to do it. Lu Yuan stepped forward according to the script, with a fist in his hand and a face full of admiration. Generally, we have taken it. Li Yuanfang's face indeed showed a smile and he said, the 8 army leaders of the Qianyo Guard really live up to their reputation. When these 8 sticks are used, they are truly full of vitality. You might say this is a mockery, but unfortunately he has a smile on his face and a sincere smile. You have to say he truly praises me. Why is he so indifferent to me? Yuanfang, you understand yin and yang. Lowering his head, Lu Yuan blushed and said, with the strength of 8 of us, I cannot perform 3 moves under the general's command. I am extremely ashamed of my humble position. After speaking, he turned around and loudly said to the others, General, you really can be called the #1 in the world. Everyone nodded in unison, saying more if they knew what to say. As long as I flatter well, promotion and wealth are indispensable. The ancients never deceived me. End of this chapter. Chapter 3. The History of Selling Fish Cubs. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 3. The History of Selling Fish Cubs. As dusk approached, the sun stumbled towards the earth, and the afterglow dyed the clouds wandering in the blue sky red. There weren't many scenes on the set today, and the work ended early, so the crew's meals naturally didn't get mixed up. When passing by a Hunan restaurant, Lu Yuan stopped in his tracks. Old Chen of the restaurant specifically mentioned it and praised it endlessly. Old Chen is hard to say in other aspects, but his vision has always been unique. Without hesitation, he pushed the door in. There aren't many guests in the restaurant, the table made of pine is coated with butter, and the TV is playing on the wall. I picked a seat to sit down and ordered the dishes, when a sound came from the TV. Njiahe, what are you doing? Release it. Xiaonan, who are you calling? You told me, please, Xiaonan, do you love him? It's a man, right? Tell me, who is he, Xiaonan? Hiss, it turns out it's Anjia and this pervert. Please don't talk to strangers. Lu Yuan shouldn't be too familiar with this drama. In high school, I was watched by my mom and sister, and in college, this drama was analyzed and speculated repeatedly as a teaching film. The drama is really good, and Njiahe is also really abnormal. On the surface, he appears gentle and refined, but in reality, his inner self is dark and twisted. The acting skills of Feng Yuanzheng in the drama are breathtaking. He is sickly, oppressive, and crazy. Even a casual glance across the screen can instantly make one's spine feel cold. The shadow of childhood is true. Not long after, the landlady twisted her waist and walked over, holding vegetables in her hand, with a fragrant aroma that was pleasing to the eye and tempting to crave. The shredded pork and green pepper with green pepper ordered has good cooking skills. The green pepper is slightly spicy, and the shredded pork is tender and smooth. Add some soup. Just 2 words, have dinner. Well, the boss lady is also good, no wonder old Chen specifically recommended it. This is called having a perfect combination of color, aroma, and taste. Come back next time. After leaving the restaurant, it was already completely dark. The crescent moon hangs high, the moonlight is hazy, and the twinkling stars are blurred. There are quite a few rental houses near Jiangnan Road, and Lu Yuan lives there. The night was seductive, and the street lights on both sides of the road echoed with the stars in the sky. Gray moths flapped their wings and flickered in the light and shadow. After walking for about 10 minutes, the rental house arrived. Pop. Close the door and turn on the lights. The rental house is not large, about 20 square meters, and there is also a small bathroom separated. There is a table by the window, with some things haphazardly placed on it. There is a simple wardrobe standing in the corner, with a mirror attached to it. The bed that satisfied Lu Yuan the most in the room was the one he specifically asked the landlord to exchange for. He is 1.85 meters tall, with long legs and small bed legs that cannot be spread apart. There is still a floor-to-ceiling fan in front of the bed. There aren't many things, but the house is packed to the brim. After entering the door, Lu Yuan quickly took off his shirt. His figure is excellent, with a long and symmetrical body, bare arms, wide shoulders and thin waist, and slightly bulging abdominal muscles. I posed in front of the mirror, swaying my hips. Hey, the capital is not bad. Glancing at the shirt he had taken off, it was clear that the cicada at noon had left marks on the clothes. The black spots appear extremely abrupt on the white shirt. When I was a child, I was chased and beaten by his mother because I caught a cicada. The main reason is that this thing can't lie, and it will be black if it is stuck. Take it to the bathroom and soak it well. He is quite experienced in cleaning. Without it, only hands and ears are familiar. The night is getting darker, and the sound of insects outside the window is ringing. Inside, the floor fan hummed and turned, feeling weak and powerless as one got older. After taking a shower and lying in bed, Lu Yuan's mind twitched slightly as the light curtain reappeared. Name: Lu Yuan, honor value. 1. Can extract dreams. 0. Dreams extracted. The wealth history of selling fish. Progress 40%. There is also a door in the section on the history of selling fish fry, and this time he is familiar with the road. His consciousness became blurred, and he crossed a door in a daze. Behind the door, he transformed into another person. Lu Yuan stood on the first floor of the hotel and took out his newly purchased phone to call Chen Shooting. Hello, this is Chen Shooting. Who is there? The voice on the other end of the phone carries a hint of laziness, still the same scent. Lu Yuan cleared his throat and whispered, Shooting. Worried that his wife might hang up the phone, he sighed and said, Hey, don't hang up. I'll just say one thing. I know I shouldn't disturb you and your child anymore, but I just diagnosed last week and the doctor said it's a terminal illness that won't cure. I just want to see you for the last time. There was no response on the other end of the phone, but the slightly rapid breathing gave Lu Yuan more confidence. After a while, Chen Shooting asked, Where are you now? I'm on the first floor of the hotel where you're staying. Wait for me, I'll go down now. Lu Yuan put down his phone and unconsciously raised the corner of his mouth. The sound of hurried footsteps came from above, and as they approached, their steps became steady again. Chen Shooting walked slowly down the stairs in high heels. In front of the stairs, Lu Yuan was dressed in a white suit, with his hands in his pockets, and his face was filled with disappointment, despair, and even a little grievance. Chen Shooting approached and carefully examined her before saying, How long have you been waiting? Lu Yuan didn't look at her either. He just lowered his head and lowered his eyes, his face full of frustration, and muttered softly, I came after being diagnosed. I'm staying at the hotel opposite you. The hotel rooms in Hong Kong are small and trendy, and the prices are really expensive. Why is there so much nonsense? Chen Shooting couldn't help but interrupt, then go back. I'm running out of money and can't go back. Lu Yuan played a prank. Chen Shooting pursed her lips and rolled her eyes without leaving a trace, saying, What disease is it? Lu Yuan suddenly became sad and shook his head. It can't be cured, the doctor said, it can't be cured, that's all. Chen Shooting reached out and her voice gradually increased, urging, what kind of illness? Let me take a look. Taking out the diagnosis form, Lu Yuan made a sample and handed it over. After thinking for a while, he withdrew it and hesitated. Forget it. Then I'll go. Seeing Chen Shooting's hair exploding, Lu Yuan quickly pulled her back, handed her the diagnosis, and cautiously said, "Wife, you need to be mentally prepared." Chen Shooting took a deep breath, took the order, blinked her eyes, and flipped back and forth several times. After confirming everything was correct, she asked in confusion, "What is dry eye syndrome?" Lu Yuan pointed to his eyes and said with a grievance, "The doctor said there is currently no medicine to cure it, so we need to keep dropping eye drops." Chen Shooting felt a suffocating sensation in her heart. With her mouth slightly open, she threw the diagnosis book back and cursed, "Are you trying to scare me to death?" Lu Yuan was still seriously gesturing, "This is indeed a terminal illness, it cannot be cured." Chen Shooting felt both angry and amused when she saw his funny appearance, but felt that she couldn't give him a good face. She had to suppress her smile and turn her head away, her fragrant shoulders trembling slightly. Yu Dao is a beauty whose body trembles lightly, and the onlookers are tempted. After collecting the diagnosis report, Lu Yuan shamelessly said, "I am currently in Hong Kong and don't have any money. Can you lend me some money? Are you coming to Hong Kong to borrow money from me?" The memory was interrupted, and on the execution stage, Lu Yuan's struggle became smaller and smaller, his eyes became dull, his mouth slightly open, and he gradually lost his breath. Xiao Wu looked at Lu Yuan, who was no longer moving, and asked to his side, "Anshin, do you think what he was thinking at the last moment before the injection? Is it repentance?" Anshin pursed her lips and said, "Confession. He doesn't know how to do it. As for what he's thinking, I guess it's Chen Shooting. Don't look at him going through ups and downs in the Jinghai, but secretly he's a lover. Chen Shooting hasn't married since she died, maybe she's been looking forward to this day." Xiao Wu nodded and said, "Whether it's a lover or a villain, Jinghai can finally be peaceful. Who knows?" In the morning, sunlight shines into the room through the gaps in the curtains, and small dust particles dance in the beam of light. Who? Lu Yuan suddenly opened his eyes and curled up, breathing heavily. "The feeling of being executed by injection in my dream is too real, breathing becomes difficult, limbs gradually stiffen, the light in front of me gradually dissipates, and finally it completely turns into a dead black. The feeling of helplessness as I watched myself walk towards death, I can't help but sweat in retrospect. What's the history of selling fish to make a fortune? My younger brother is gone, my wife is dead, and I was betrayed by an adopted daughter. I was not caught by the authorities but was stabbed by my own people. What kind of bullshit life?" The ending in his dream made Lu Yuan angry. He hoped to receive just punishment, not betrayal. Backed by the bedside, he slowly looked at the light curtain in front of him. Name: Lu Yuan, honor value 1, can extract dreams. 0, the disappearance of the history of making a fortune by selling fish means that the dream of drawing can only be fully entered once. So what is honor value and how should we obtain it? I couldn't figure it out for a moment, so I picked up my phone next to my pillow and glanced at the time. It was 5:30. Stretching lazily, Lu Yuan changed his shoes and walked outside the door, skillfully putting on his posture and starting to practice boxing. The martial arts were learned from his grandfather, the health fist, which has little killing power and is just flashy, making it look good. His grandfather is an old Chinese medicine practitioner. He used to play boxing in the morning when he had nothing to do. When I was a child, I was influenced by martial arts dramas and mistakenly thought that the old man was a reclusive expert in the martial arts world, so I was deceived into practicing with him for several years. When I was in elementary school, I saw my desk mate being bullied by a few people from the next class. I can't bear it, just fuck him. He, who possessed high martial arts skills, believed himself to be a king. Although there were many enemies, it didn't matter. He bravely charged forward with his short legs. The battle was fierce, and thanks to the teacher's arrival, Lu Yuan almost couldn't hold back his tears. Grandpa misunderstood me. Later on, I practiced less until I found out during my physical education class in college that this boxing technique was effective in training body coordination, so I picked it up again. Now in the class, his dance movements and coordination are unmatched by anyone. Half an hour later, Lu Yuan, who had finished washing up, stood in front of the mirror. The mirror is a bit short, and he has to bend slightly. The person in the mirror has fair skin, thick eyebrows slightly raised, deep and bright eyes, and a high and delicate nose bridge. The young man is really handsome. After smelling beautiful, Lu Yuan couldn't help but think of his dream from last night. Dreams are very real, although many details are starting to blur. When he was a fish trafficker, he was in a state of despair, bullied by others, dared not speak out, and was forced to make a living obediently. Thinking this way, Lu Yuan's gaze in the mirror changed, becoming numb, hollow, as if losing light. He frowned, as if there were always unresolved issues, his face became tired, his shoulders slightly drooped, his waist no longer straight, and although there was a smile on the corner of his mouth, there was an indelible bitterness in his smile. Lu Yuan looked foolishly at himself in the mirror. Very unfamiliar. His gaze and demeanor are completely different from before. Anyone who looks at him will feel that he is a low-level person who has suffered from the ravages of life. Is this me? Lu Yuan felt incredulous. Although he had some talent in acting, he could never perform this numbness before today. Performance originates from life and requires actors to have a keen observation of life, reflect on life's feelings, and then combine them with characters to create art. He is still young, and his experience and understanding of life are far from enough to support his performance. After all, experience is the best teacher for actors. Lu Yuan roughly understood the role of dreams, and then he remembered his later self in the dream. So his gaze in the mirror changed once again, becoming cold and heartless, with endless darkness hidden inside. Yes, he was a big shot calling for wind and rain in the Jinghai. Taking a deep breath, Lu Yuan tried to calm himself down. Fate, this woman, is standing in front of him. He wants to hold on to her high ponytail and live a different life. Lu Yuan began to look forward to his next dream. End of this chapter. Chapter 4. Coal Boss. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 4. Coal Boss Hengdian, a filming base for Ming in Qing Palace Gardens. Lu Yuan and Lao Chen squatted in the corner. Today is a palace drama, with Lu Yuan playing a eunuch and Lao Chen playing a street bully. The plot is quite cliché, nothing more than a scene where the crown prince falls in love with a maid. She fled, he chased, and they were unable to fly. Rotten and vulgar, Lu Yuan couldn't figure out what screenwriter could write such a plot. What's even more puzzling is that the audience just likes to watch these things, and you're not angry. The handsome guy is speechless. The rest area of the crew is supported by several sunshade umbrellas, with reclining chairs under them. The female lead is lying on the chair, wearing sunglasses, which is quite leisurely. Old Chen looked at the figure on the chair and smacked his lips, saying, "Coal Boss is really speechless when it comes to selecting beautiful women." Lu Yuan nodded. You can doubt the artistic talent of Coal Boss, but you cannot doubt their aesthetic taste. The objects they choose are either bright and elegant, gentle and intellectual, or charming and graceful without any demons. People dress up in front, people wave behind. Old Chen said again, I guess this Coal Boss is around 40 years old. How can I guess? Lu Yuan was puzzled. Look at the figure and appearance of this female lead. What do you think is the most attractive? Lu Yuan calmly straightened his chest. Upon seeing this, Old Chen sneered and said, she's still too young. Take a closer look, she's known as the Dian bully. Lu Yuan. Old Chen, you are really meticulous. Old Chen ignored it and continued, look at her small waist. There is a saying that the waist of a 28-year-old lady is as crispy as before, secretly teaching you bone marrow to wither. What is the relationship between these and the age of the coal boss? Kid, you should know that men of different ages have different definitions of beauty. Speak in detail. Lu Yuan was curious, he had never heard of this before. Old Chen didn't show any interest either. Yu Guang looked at Lu Yuan and said meaningfully, let's just say these little brats around 20 are the most superficial. They only know how to look at their faces, and those with beautiful faces love each other. Lu Yuan remained silent, just silently raising his ears. As for those in their 40s, they like their waist and hips, they are plump and boneless when held, and delicate and perky like peaches. And the one in his 50s likes legs, slender and powerful, fair and symmetrical, full and crystal clear without appearing bulky, smooth and delicate without losing luster. Of course, there are also some people who are quite abnormal in playing, like their feet, round and symmetrical, delicate and crystal clear, licking and coughing. Old Chen coughed and stopped in time. Did you miss out on being 30 years old? Old Chen reached out his hand, facing the wind, and smiled, come on, feel it for yourself. Lu Yuan rolled his eyes, feeling that this action was too lewd and inappropriate in public. So you like your feet, right, it's your waist. Old Chen shook his head and said, no, you're wrong again. I only like young people. Lu Yuan. Did you talk nonsense together? Lu Yuan frowned and said displeased, you've been talking about men's aesthetics. Do you know what kind of men women like? Old Chen thought to himself, there are no more than 3 points. Handsome and wealthy. But with his understanding of Lu Yuan, the answer wouldn't be so simple, so he asked, which one? Lu Yuan looked at him with a meaningful smile on his lips and said, women don't like crooked men, they like positive and upward. Old Chen was stunned for a moment, quickly regained his senses, slapped his thigh, and laughed and cursed, hey, you stinky kid. Ignoring the other person, this person is not serious. You become who you spend your time with. Lu Yuan felt that he was still a simple, sunny, handsome big boy, so he should stay away from this kind of person. Get up and kick your legs. Numb. Everyone is quiet. Photography. Normal. Recording a certain question. Turn on. Actors are in position, recording the scene on the board. Action. On the street, the female protagonist's face was full of fear, occasionally turning back to look behind her. Old Chen followed closely behind, disheveled, shirtless, and with a fan attached to his waist, incognito. This guy was picking his nose, looking promiscuous, spitting and shouting, ha ha ha, little lady, don't hurry to leave, and play with my brothers again. His expression is exactly the same as when he was talking nonsense earlier, and he truly deserves to be an Old Chen. Thanks to his temperament, he became an actor. Over, prepare for the next one. On the sidelines, Lu Yuan secretly scrutinized the male lead. He doesn't have much impression of male lead, his accent comes from the Bay side. In recent years, actors from the Bay and Hong Kong Island have been pressuring mainland actors to fight, and even at the beginning of the year, there was an incident of little fish hitting people. These are all unavoidable things. After all, in the entertainment industry, their current strength is indeed stronger than that of the mainland. But Lu Yuan believes that this is only temporary, with a population base in place. With such a huge market, the final say will definitely be in the mainland. The Bay accent is easy to distinguish, and I like to use words like yeah, la, ouch. And the mood particles will drag on for a long time, with a particularly slow tone and a preference for using rising tones. Also, because the curling tongue is not obvious, the front and back nasal sounds are not distinguished, and the erhua sound is ignored, so it sounds very gentle, soft and sweet. The male lead had slightly dark skin, and he also noticed Lu Yuan. He first stared at Lu Yuan for a long time, and then said something to the middle-aged woman next to him, such as the agent, in a very low voice that Lu Yuan couldn't hear very clearly. The drama management urged people to come on stage. Actors in position. 10 scenes with 3 mirrors, action. The Crown Prince walked ahead in his usual attire, with many pedestrians on the street. On both sides were vendors selling goods and acrobatic performers, with people and horses cheering and bustling. Lu Yuan followed closely behind, his eyes occasionally looking around, appearing particularly attentive. Ahead, the female protagonist ran towards the two with a panicked expression and hurriedly knocked down a passerby. Lu Yuan couldn't bear to look straight at you. You run and run, why are you still hitting people with the ball? Passers-by are calling you to provoke you. Also, there are street vendors who don't take off their watches. They're showing their stuff. Hey! The Crown Prince noticed the pursuit on the street, and at the feet of the emperor, there were villains teasing women from good families on the street. It's unreasonable. He had an unpleasant expression and gestured towards Lu Yuan with his eyes. According to the script, Lu Yuan should immediately go to help the female lead at this moment. But Lu Yuan felt that this was not right. He made some subtle changes. He first looked at the woman running towards him, then scanned the crowd beside the Crown Prince with fierce eyes, investigating potential hidden threats. He is worried about the safety of the Crown Prince. After all, this time he left the palace without permission, and the Crown Prince only took him with him. But since His Highness has already ordered, he can only follow. After reflection, Lu Yuan no longer hesitated. This eunuch is a bit interesting, but he looks a bit more attractive than the male lead, the director thought to himself as he watched the footage on the monitor. He doesn't mind actors adding scenes to himself, as long as they can make the character stand out. The hesitant expression on Lu Yuangang's face, coupled with his observation of the surroundings, perfectly matched the character's inner thoughts and made the character's image more vivid. The director naturally raised his hands in agreement with such additional scenes. At this moment, the middle-aged woman walked over with a straight face. She pointed to the monitor and said to the director, "Director, let's change this group of actors." What? The director was considering whether to add a close-up shot when his thoughts were suddenly interrupted. "Let's change this group performer," the middle-aged woman repeated, with a smile on her face but a strong attitude. Yes, Wazwa is just a group performer, and she doesn't think the director will refuse. Moreover, standing behind the male lead is the producer, and if the director has any objections, he can only hold them back. The director was puzzled that this drama was jointly invested by mainland coal owners and bay tycoons, with a father standing behind each of the two main actors. The two of them are not quite at odds yet. If you add a role today, he will be changing people tomorrow. Where is this arena? You can change people, you have to give a reason. Why, just because someone is handsome, they will be replaced if they surpass the male lead. How many times have you intervened? How about you become this director? I have at least filmed a few scenes myself, and if you say you want to change people, then you can change them. It has been rumored that I, as a director, am not very embarrassed. The director's expression was calm, facing the middle-aged woman and waving card on the field. Lu Yuan and Lao Qin stared big and small. The sound of the card rang out, followed by the director's voice coming from the amplifier. Who found the eunuch? Those who don't know thought he was the Crown Prince. If it were someone uglier, why would he look so awkward? Hurry up and change him. The Crown Prince. Lu Yuan. Degree. Sun Peng quickly signaled Lu Yuan to leave the scene, while also finding someone to make up for it. He apologized repeatedly, "I'm sorry, director, it delayed everyone's filming. I'll replace him now." The atmosphere inside the venue was slightly awkward. Lu Yuan opened his mouth and hesitated to speak. Let's be happy, a little sad, and also a little sad. The money that's almost in hand is gone, it's gone. In the end, people speak lightly. As he was about to leave, Lu Yuan glanced at the man number 1. The day is long and we'll see. At noon, Lu Yuan found old Chen with the boxed lunch he had come by. Seeing Lu Yuan sitting down, old Chen held a toothpick in his mouth and joked, "Oh, isn't that Lu Yuan? How did the crew kick him?" He continued with a strange expression, "You're not good at reading Beijing either." Lu Yuan couldn't stand him either and raised his eyebrows, saying, "Yes, I'm also confused. What's wrong with this circle? Isn't being handsome also a mistake?" Old Chen. I have to say, the food on set is really unpleasant. The 2 dishes, minced meat and mashed potatoes, and dried tofu and fried pig skin, are all potatoes. They are green and healthy, and the taste is not good. The key is that the pig hair has not faded completely. At first, Lu Yuan didn't notice that the taste was not right until he tasted it in his mouth. It was hairy, but when he looked again, he didn't have to worry too much. Barely deal with a few bites, 3 parts full. Glancing at old Chen, this bird man is still picking his teeth. Where did you get that toothpick? This stingy crew is willing to buy this thing. I made it without chopsticks. Do you want it? Here it is. As he spoke, he handed the toothpick in his mouth to Lu Yuan. Get lost. It's really disgusting. Lu Yuan looked disgusted and hid far away. Cover the lunchbox, pat your butt, get up and leave. Old Chen asked, why go? Send something to the office. Police station. Did you make a mistake? I said you can't learn anything good at a young age. Lu Yuan turned around and glanced at him, looking at the mashed potatoes in his bowl. He said maliciously, no, it's the toilet. Old Chen understood instantly, feeling angry and a bit tempted to curse. I haven't finished my meal yet, can you talk about civilization? Lu Yuan turned around and pondered for 2 seconds before saying, is it more civilized? It's also possible. The toilet is hungry, I'll go feed it something. Damn it, get lost. End of this chapter. Chapter 5. Pressing under the body. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 5. Pressing under the body. Exotic Charm is the name of this internet cafe. Under the cover of darkness, the neon lights flowed and shone brightly, appearing particularly dreamy in the black night. Pushing open the door, the air coming towards me carried a faint sour smell, like spoiled food mixed with the smell of inferior cigarettes. Messy, noisy, and cramped, this is Lu Yuan's first impression of this internet cafe. In front of the dimly lit computer screen were oily faces that seemed to last for a while, with hair appearing somewhat greasy. The front desk paid for it, and after booking for 2 hours, Lu Yuan found a relatively clean and intact keyboard seat to sit down. Hanging up QQ and looking at several familiar icons on the desktop, he thought for a moment and decided to have a violent motorcycle ride first. This is a competitive game, and Lu Yuan first played it in high school. In the game, players will take on the role of a motorcycle rider and engage in fierce and ruthless confrontations with other NPC players on the extreme track. In high school, he really enjoyed surfing the internet and would drag a few friends to the internet cafe after school. When I first came into contact with this game, I was amazed and obsessed for a while, so I ate less breakfast. After playing this game, if you want to win, you have to drive in a standardized manner, stay calm and avoid causing trouble. But people do not underestimate their youth. Yeah, how dare you kick me? Wait, I'll give you a stick. The keyboard was typing with a popping sound. Give me a kick, I'll give you a stick. Lu Yuan and NPC are fighting hard. Cough, cough. QQ began to cough continuously, and the sound stopped. Open QQ, there is a commotion in the class group. He has 2 class groups, one with teachers and the other without teachers. I understand everything I know. The one who is making a fuss is the one without the teacher. Looking at the noisy classmates in the group, Lu Yuan somehow remembered Louis Fei. How can the gap between people be so big? In their junior year, they have already reached the top of the television industry and are starting to move into the film industry. I heard that I have recently finished filming The Legend of the Condor Heroes, and the producer is still Zhang Jizhong. Okay, it looks like another wave of nationwide drama watching is about to start. Not to mention Zhang Jizhong's character, his reputation in the field of martial arts dramas is not well established. Most of the martial arts dramas he has produced in recent years have become popular. His drama has only 2 points. The more beautiful the female lead is, the better, and the more masculine the male lead is, which is pleasing to the eye. Su Qing's version of Xiao Ao Jianghu, Zhou Sun's version of The Legend of the Condor Heroes, and Lu Yifei's version of Tian Long Babu, which version is not a ratings explosion. Although the audience curses fiercely, they love and hate deeply, that's all about ratings. I envy you so much. People are more popular than people. That year was 18, no, Lu Yuan is 21 years old this year, useless. Oh, it seems like someone has fallen behind. Click on Huang Bo's personal information in the friend list. Born on August 26, 1974. Ho, ho 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 ho, Bo Gu, you're 30 this year. No, it's almost 31. You're 30.2 years old, so round it to 40. 40 minus 20, well, roughly estimate that Bo Gu is 20 years older than me. Lu Yuan instantly felt that his mood had calmed down a lot, and indeed, happiness had to be built on the pain of others. Do you want to wish him a happy birthday in advance? It's only a few days since then. Bo Gu is getting older, will he be stimulated? As an actor, you have to have a big heart. Bo Gu, I am doing it for you. Clicking on Huang Bo's QQ, Lu Yuan typed and said, Brother Bo, how have you been lately? Your birthday is coming soon. I wish you a happy birthday in advance. At 40, no, happy 30.2 years old. I wish you success soon. I haven't seen him back either, it's normal, after all, who would have stayed in front of the computer all these years without any worries. The acquaintance between Lu Yuan and Huang Bo is very dramatic. The first time he met Huang Bo was at school, because he looked very old. Lu Yuansua mistook him for a teacher and asked many questions about performance. Not to mention, what he said was quite reasonable. Although he didn't have much theoretical knowledge, he was full of details, especially in the explanation of the minor figures, which greatly benefited Lu Yuan. The next day during class, Lu Yuan noticed that this person was also coming to listen to the class with a book in hand. Upon inquiry, it was embarrassing to find out that the two of them, who were studying dubbing, were still in the same class. They got to know each other like this. In the group, everyone congratulates Zhou Yang with every word you say. Zhou Yang, come on, take Shisha. This is Luo Jin's silly criticism. Come on, Sister Zhou. I'm good at carrying bags, and I can also massage. This is Zhu Yan's grandson. Come on, get out of here soon. Don't forget these classmates when you're hot. This is Jiang Yiyan. Come on, Zhou Yang. This is a stick of wood. Forget it, I won't change my nickname, I don't know. The group was constantly buzzing with blessings, and Lu Yuan flipped through the records to understand what had happened. It turned out that Zhou Yang received an invitation from the production team of King Gojian of Yu to audition for the role of Shisha. The protagonist of this drama is Chen Baogua, a talented actor who has produced many good dramas in recent years. A big mansion directly made him popular, not to mention the recently popular Han Wu Emperor. If Chen Baogua is present, it means that this drama is basically aimed at CCTV. Nowadays, going to CCTV means becoming popular. After figuring out the situation, Lu Yuan felt genuinely happy for Zhou Yang, thought for a moment, and began typing. Zhou Yang, it's time to put Lu Yifei under your weight. Keep an eye on you, come on. The group fell into a brief silence. Zhou Yang. Louis Fei. Dot. Sleeping slot, Louis Fei, aren't you a big star? Aren't you even busy? How do you have time to go online? I didn't say anything before, you were just peeping at the screen. Luo Jin. Did you drink alcohol? Zhu Yuan said, Lu Yuan, if you are banned, please don't tell everyone that I am your roommate. Luo Jin. And me too. Zhou Yang. Don't worry, you too. I will speak up. Zhu Yuan. Dot. Luo Jin. Dot. Louis Fei is quite aloof at school. He doesn't talk much and doesn't like to argue with everyone. There are only 3.5 classmates who get along well. Class monitor Wang Jia, Zhou Yang, Zhu Yan, and half of them are Lu Yuan. The reason why it's half of it is because Lu Yuan always likes to get at her, and whenever there is something to do, he instigates the relationship between her and Zhou Yang, which is quite annoying. The group became noisy again, the screen kept scrolling, and QQ coughed almost to the point of losing breath. The small group in Yuan dormitory began to have someone speak up. Dormitory group building is mainly for learning, occasionally exchanging learning materials. Lu Yuandian opens a group message. Zhu Yuan said, Fierce, Lu Yuan, you dare to provoke Louis Fei. Luo Jin. This kid is probably useless. Lu Yuan disdainfully typed and replied, I'm afraid of her. I'm joking. I dare to face her too. Luo Jin said, let's scatter the group. Xiaolu bravely flies, and if something happens, he will carry it on his own. Zhu Yan. Supplementary proposal. Chao Zhen. Supplementary proposal. Lu Yuan. Dot. Luo Jin said, to be serious, how are you at Hengdian? Do you have a lot of work to do? Take care of your brothers. Lu Yuan. You can come as well. It's not a problem to make a special appointment with the background of Beidian. You can save face and keep doing small tasks, but not big ones. Zhu Yan. Also take me with you. Lu Yuan. Get lost. Luo Jin. Get lost. Zhu Yan said, I feel excluded because my handsomeness makes you jealous. Zhu Yan's grandson is currently the best resourced among several people and has been filming extensively in the past 2 years. Lu Yuan. Do you believe me to talk to Xiao Pan about borrowing study materials from Luo Jin? Xiao Pan is Pan Yutong, the girlfriend of Zhu Yan. Zhu Yan said, Brother, I was wrong. Luo Jin said, didn't my information come from you? Lu Yuan. Dot. Chao Zhen said, stop nagging, go online, CS starts. By the way, pass me a copy of the learning materials. Everyone looked at it and answered one after another, go online. When clicking on the battle platform, Lu Yuan noticed that Zhou Yang and Louis Fei in the lower right corner began to bombard him, and he decisively withdrew from QQ. Well, if I can't see it, it's like I haven't received it. I have the ability to crawl over the internet cable. Oh, woman. Games are the most important thing, CS starts. Luo Jin, smoke bomb, smoke bomb. Zhu Yan, you charge forward while I cover up from behind. Lu Yuan, what's the agreed cover? Damn it, Luo Jin, what are you doing throwing bombs for? It's not me, the bomb was thrown by old Chao. Luo Jin, it's not me. I'm stuck and can't move. 2 minutes later, Lu Yuan leaned back in his chair and muttered, let me introduce you to a vegetable contest. At this moment, the phone on the table rang and the caller ID was Lao Chen. At 10 o'clock in the evening, it doesn't make sense. Why did he call so late? Lu Yuan answered the phone hesitantly and said, hello, Lao Chen. What's wrong? I'm not caught, right? If I catch you, cough so I can hang up the phone. On the other end of the phone, Lao Chen's voice was lowered and he said, no, is it convenient for you now? Can you send me some money? My wallet was stolen. Then why don't you take a taxi? I'm at an internet cafe called Exotic Style. You can come over directly and I'll help you settle the bill. No way, I can't leave now. I need some money to help urgently. It's on Dodgy Street, come over quickly. When old Chen said about Dodgy Street, Lu Yuan understood that this was fast food and he couldn't afford to pay the bill, causing people to be detained. After staying in Hengdian for a long time, everyone knows that there are 3 very famous streets in this place, commonly known as 3 streets. This name was chosen by the Hengdrifters, and locals may not necessarily know it. The 3 streets are Deji Street, Wanxing Street, and Hong Kong Street. Wanxing Street is the street with the highest pedestrian flow, and Daji Street is adjacent to it. This street is relatively old, with low-built houses and many footbath shops, which are all not serious. Whenever night falls, there are women wearing short skirts, kipeos, or ancient costumes next to the low buildings. They stood in the dim light, waving to passing men and talking about business with those who looked at each other. When Lu Yuan first arrived, he was quite curious and followed old Chen to see it once. It was purely a long experience without any practical experience. It was not the reason why there was no money in my pocket at that time. After all, with his appearance, I don't know who is at a disadvantage. Alright, I got it. I'll be there soon. What's this called? After talking to Luo Jin and the others, Lu Yuan reluctantly stood up. After thinking about it, I drove the machine for 2 hours, but it only took me less than half an hour, and it was a loss of blood. So he said to his friend beside him, "Brother, I have an urgent matter here. There is still over an hour left on the machine. If you don't have enough time, you can come here. This guy is also quite fun." Lu Yuan noticed him as soon as he arrived. Most people come to internet cafes to play games or chat. He was so good that he came to the internet cafe to watch a movie, and surprisingly, he was still watching anime called Saint Seiya. Okay. My buddy was a bit perfunctory, I don't know if he heard it clearly. Never mind, if you don't go, old Chen's place will explode. Outside the door. At the beginning of the night, the towering buildings around lit up with lights, and the streets were dotted with neon lights. The entire city appeared illusory and flashy under the night lights. Wave your hand, a motorcycle sways its tail and approaches. Good driving skills. Handsome guy, where are you going? The rider was wearing a helmet and couldn't see clearly. How much is Dodgy Street? No, I haven't been there, I'm not quite sure. The rider hesitated. I asked for the fare. Hey, you told me earlier, 50. Can we leave for 5 yuan? Get in the car. At night, it's all like this, with drivers shouting prices everywhere and passengers repaying money recklessly. The main feature is unexpected. Newcomer's new book, Seeking Collection, Seeking Various Tickets, end of this chapter. Chapter 6. Dancing. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Chapter 6. Dancing. The night was filled with darkness, as if riding an iron horse under his crotch, and his ears were filled with wild animal-like roars. The street lights flashed like shooting stars, and at this moment, the world became different, with the wind blowing across my cheeks. It really hurts. 5 yuan, said the rider without looking back. Here, buddy, remember to prepare an extra helmet next time. The wind blew and Lu Yuan's hair was straight and confused, his face tense as if it had been covered with a layer of film. This is not my car, the rider whispered back. What about your car? I'm repairing it. I fell into the ditch this morning. Sleeping slot, you have the guts not to leave. The rider released the accelerator and disappeared into the corner of the alley, facing the light like a general rushing to the battlefield. Say Shengshan footbath shop. On the sofa, old Chen looked bitter and listless, occasionally looking up at the door. There is a hidden door inside the store, and there is a massage bed near the door. There was a woman standing at the front desk in a suspender outfit, with dates red hair that looked a bit messy, and a slight blush on her face. At this moment, she was staring closely at old Chen, with contempt in her eyes. Under the sharp gaze of the other party, old Chen sat restless. He never expected to encounter such a thing. Today, when he came out to do charity, he passed by the alley and was hit head-on. Seeing the other party's sincere apology attitude, he didn't take it to heart. It has been proven that men have two brains, one big and one small, and the latter is still solid. After the charity was over, he felt in his pocket and realized that his wallet was gone. He searched all over but couldn't find it, and then realized that it was mostly because the person at the intersection had walked away. He wanted to owe money, but he refused to accept it. How heartless. We are all old acquaintances, why can't we just pay next time? Which business deal is worth billions of dollars? How could old Chen be so close? I haven't heard of this kind of thing being able to issue IOUs, so I had to contact Lu Yuan. What are you looking at? When will your friend arrive? The receptionist was very dissatisfied. Almost. Outside the store, Lu Yuan was wearing a mask, fully armed, and carefree. The mask was bought from a roadside pharmacy, after all, it's quite embarrassing. He was lost in thought as he looked at the store name. Sai Shinxian, the name is quite unique. Do you want to go to heaven? At first glance, it doesn't seem like a legitimate store. The store door is made of glass, with double doors and one-way perspective. On the left side, there are words for foot washing, massage, and scraping, while on the right side, there are words for face washing, cupping, and massage. Last batch, welcome to visit. Oh, there's also a job posting on the door. Lu Yuan plans to get closer and see what kind of job he is hiring. He had just made a move when old Chen pushed the door open and walked out. Boss, you haven't paid yet, you can't leave, the short-clothed woman tugged at her from behind. My friend is here, and when I go out to greet him, they all say they won't owe you anything. Old Chen was embarrassed, and said to Lu Yuan, hurry up, give us the money. After we give it, we'll leave. Lu Yuan didn't say much, just pay for it. The most important thing is to leave quickly after finishing the task. The woman, however, stared at him several times and even scratched her head at Lu Yuan after counting the money, saying, handsome guy, come and play when you have time. I'll give you a discount. Discounts. You give me money to repay, no, what are you thinking? Lu Yuan pulled old Chen to flee. The alley was a bit dim, and the two of them walked along it. There is a street lamp at the corner of the alley, with a trash can placed under it. A yellow dog is searching helplessly. Startled by the sound of footsteps, it stared at the two with an alert expression. Lu Yuan glanced and silently changed positions with Lao Chen. Old Chen, don't come to me if you encounter such a situation next time. I can't afford to lose this person. Old Chen said helplessly, I didn't know I would be robbed and lose my conscience. Looking at his phone, it was still early, and Lu Yuan asked, where are you going now? You just called me to my internet cafe a few minutes ago. Let's go have a drink, it's my treat. It's like I didn't pay for your treat. Do you want to call Sun Peng? Okay, I'll make a phone call. Woo. Lie down, run. The next day, at 10 o'clock in the morning, sunlight shone through the window and onto my face. The phone rings. We, who do not understand the agony of love, hate, and sorrow, they all thought that falling in love was like the fickleness of the wind and clouds. Believe that one day of love is worth forever, frozen time in this moment. The bell sounded a bit loud, and Lu Yuan turned over and lay facing the bed, scratching his buttocks. Last night, the three of them drank until 2 a.m., and when they returned, they fell asleep. The bell is still ringing, and the Jiangnan at this moment is the most unpleasant song in his heart, there is no one. I closed my eyes and fumbled for a while, answered the phone, but didn't see who it was. "Hello," Lu Yuan asked weakly. "Hello, Lu Yuan. It's me." Feeling somewhat familiar, Lu Yuan struggled to open his eyes. The caller displayed as Zhou Yang, and he was stunned for 2 seconds before saying, "Good morning, Zhou Yang. What's wrong? What's so early, what time is it? What's wrong with your voice? You haven't woken up yet." Lu Yuan yawned and explained, "I had some drinks with a few friends last night and came back a bit late." "Oh, this way, I'm here at Hengdian, and you also asked me to come over and give you 2 punches." "Cut, don't believe it, speak seriously." "I'm serious, I've really been to Hengdian. I'm not familiar with this place, that's why I came to see you." "Did you go to Hengdian? What are you doing here?" "Trial, the crew is in Hengdian." "I'll come over here." "Trial, King Gojin of you. Will this play be filmed in Hengdian?" Lu Yuan stood up straight. "They said they were going to the Shaoxing area, but they will first audition at Hengdian. I told you yesterday on QQ that you shouldn't read my messages. Hey, who knows what you both sent in your private messages? Wait for me, I'll go pick you up. By the way, where are you now?" "I don't know, it seems like a square." "Wait for me to ask someone. A lady said this is Hengpio Square." "Okay, you wait for me there." Hanging up the phone, Lu Yuan got up and took a shower. "I came back too late last night and didn't feel much. Now I feel my whole body sticky. I checked the time before going out, 9:30. Hengpio Square is located at the intersection of Xingxing Road and Yi Road. There are quite a few people in the square, especially at night. A group of elderly people will dance in the square. Of course, for them, jumping is not impossible in the morning. Sister, you sit at the bow of the boat, brother walks on the shore, grace, love, and fine rope sway leisurely." Before Lu Yuanren arrived, the sound of the sound system could be heard from afar. In the square, the aunties are dancing, but as for the dance moves, it's not easy to describe. Well, it's quite casual, the clothes are quite neat. Lu Yuan looked around but couldn't find Zhou Yang's figure. "I took out my phone and was about to dial it when I saw a girl bouncing over from the pile of aunties with a bag on her back. Tall and with a ponytail tied, he is Zhou Yang." Lu Yuan waved his hand. "I said, why did you jump with auntie?" Zhou Yang is a northern girl with a straightforward and carefree personality, and has a good relationship with Lu Yuan and others. She was wearing a white T-dot shirt on her upper body, with a pure appearance, soft facial features, and a gentle and charming charm unique to Eastern women. Perhaps it has been jumping for a long time, with a slight blush on the cheeks and a hint of sweat hanging from it. Sweat beads slowly flow down the white and tender neck, along the collarbone, towards the chest. "Well, my family is quite wealthy." Zhou Yang looked at Lu Yuan and smiled. "It was that old lady who insisted on pulling me to jump. I can't resist her, not to mention it, it's quite fun. Lu Yuan, do you want to jump together?" I don't know how to do it." "You can go jump on your own." "It's okay, I'll teach you, it's very simple." After she finished speaking, she dragged Lu Yuan and walked towards the pile of aunties. "Hey, don't drag me, I really don't know how to jump this thing." "I won't teach you. I really don't know. You follow me, first do this, yes, shake your shoulders, then extend your left foot, and then, oh my." 2 minutes later, Lu Yuan stood on the side, looking embarrassed and saying, "I'm sorry, I really can't jump over. I feel sorry for stepping on the girls several times." Zhou Yang sat on the steps, rubbing the soles of his feet, staring silently at the stepped shoes. The shoes were newly bought by her and she came over to wear them today, but as soon as we met, she got several footprints. Looking up, she stared straight at Lu Yuan and said, "I don't care, you have to treat me to dinner." Lu Yuan apologized. After all, there was a mistake first, so he naturally followed her and said, "Please, a few meals will do." Seeing the other person finally stand up, he said again, "Is it okay? Let's go. Let's find a place for you to live first." Taking the bag from her side, Lu Yuan strode forward. "By the way, Ife asked me to give you 2 punches. Wait for me." Thinking of his best friend's advice, Zhou Yang swung his fist and chased after him. Lu Yuan didn't want to talk and took a few steps. "You run slowly, I can't catch up. Who's weird about your short legs?" "Lu Yuan, you're doomed." "Short legs." Jinghua Hotel, front desk. Lu Yuan checked in with the staff carrying a bag, while Zhou Yang stood behind him holding his waist. After registration, the staff looked at the two and pointed to the box on the left, whispering, "Sir, the room is too expensive. You can get some from the front desk." "What kind of thing?" I, Mr. Lu, can't understand at all. Holding the room card, Lu Yuan ignored the surprised look from the front desk and turned around to leave. Zhou Yang followed behind, lowering his head and blushing in his ears. Being too curious is not a good thing. 4th floor, room 401. After entering the door, Zhou Yang rushed straight to bed. Lu Yuan put down his backpack, sat down on the sofa, played with his phone for a while, and then checked the time. It was 11:30. On the bed, Zhou Yang was still lying motionless. He asked, "Did the crew tell you where to audition?" "It's said to be the International Trade Building." Zhou Yang pressed his face against the bed quilt, his voice muffled. "That's not far, it's on Kangzhuang South Street, about a 20-minute drive from here. Are you hungry? Let's go and have dinner." "I don't want to go, I'm so tired." Lu Yuan touched his stomach and said, "I haven't had breakfast yet." Upon hearing this, Zhou Yang lifted his head from the bed and reluctantly stood up, saying, "All right then, what's delicious in Hengdian?" After pondering for a while, Lu Yuan didn't expect anything delicious in Hengdian. "Let's have a casual meal at noon and take you to the night market at night. The Hengdian night market is quite lively and there are plenty of snacks," he said. Zhou Yang shook his head and spoke firmly, "No, I need to maintain my figure, so I won't go to the night market. Occasionally having a meal won't make you fat much." "No, I absolutely won't go eat." Newcomer's new book, Seeking Collection, Seeking Various Tickets. End of this chapter. Chapter 7. Tensions. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 7. Tensions. At night, Wanqing Street is filled with lights and bustle, and pedestrians are bustling. The wind, with its fragrance, glided past the tip of its nose, teasing its taste buds. After a slight resistance, the taste buds abandoned their armor. On both sides of the street are scattered small stalls, the sound of stalls selling, the subtle explosion of barbecue charcoal, and the laughter of children chasing after them, as if the pulse of the city is beating. Hiccup. Zhou Yang had enough to eat and drink, and accidentally hiccup, his face blushing with embarrassment. She looked at Lu Yuan angrily and said, "It's all your fault. You insisted on bringing me to the night market. Originally, at this time, I should be thinking about my role at the hotel and preparing for tomorrow's audition." Lu Yuan wondered why this woman's face was faster than flipping through a book. "I said I didn't wear this kind of thing. Who said they wanted to lose weight, had no appetite, and ended up eating more happily than anyone else? I couldn't stop it, why don't I admit it now when I put on my pants?" Although Zhou Yang may have been at fault, he still looked up and argued, "Well, then I'm hungry. Besides, I'm so tired at noon and didn't even take a few bites." "Okay, I can't say it. Anyway, it's all up to you." Lu Yuan, shut up. He has never won a fight with a woman since childhood, so his mother won't say anything. If he gets angry, he can take action. If he can, he won't be fooled. The key is that even his sister can't do it. From childhood to adulthood, not even once. It's really embarrassing. Passing through a quiet path, there were not many pedestrians on the road, only the sound of the wind blowing, with a bit of noise. Tomorrow's audition, you accompany me. Zhou Yang stepped on Lu Yuan's shadow behind him. No, why are you trying on me? Lu Yuan walked ahead with his pocket in his pocket. Women are a very annoying species, and he doesn't really want to talk to them. Are you sure you're not going? Zhou Yang asked slowly. If you don't go, the good man will spit and nail. If he doesn't go, then he won't go. Lu Yuan waved his hand without looking back. He just wants to quickly send the person back. Zhou Yang couldn't step on his shadow for a moment and fell behind, panting with anger. Okay, if you don't go, then don't go. Don't regret it. I was planning to tell you that the candidate for family has not been decided yet. Upon hearing these words, Lu Yuan stopped in an instant, turned around, bent down, smiled, and had a pleasing expression on his face. Sister, I spoke a little louder just now. Don't mind. Are you tired? If you're tired, let's take a break here. Whether your shoulders are sore or not, I'll pinch them. Lu Yuan ran back and skillfully placed his hand on Zhou Yang's shoulder, pinching it a few times with a certain posture. Sister, how about the intensity? Do you want to hurry up? Zhou Yang suppressed his smile, slightly raising the corner of his mouth and ignoring him. He lifted his paw, took 2 steps over, and the single ponytail behind his head swayed. I'm tired and I need to go back to sleep. Don't follow me anymore. Sister, how can we do that? It's not safe to be alone. I can leave your door open and make a floor. Humph, no. Oh, carrot, oh Zhou Yang turned his head and ran, while Lu Yuan begged desperately to follow behind. Send it back to Zhou Yang. He went to the bookstore again and also took a video of ancient costumes. He plans to give it a try tomorrow and needs to make some preparations before that. The next day, in the waiting room of the International Trade Building. Lu Yuan is dressed in a Hong Kong-style outfit, with a white shirt on his upper body, blue jeans on his lower body, and a pair of white sneakers on his feet. He has a straight and clean figure. Lu Yuan, I'm a bit nervous and feel like my heart is about to jump. Zhou Yang sat on the side, feeling uneasy. Lu Yuan glanced and said, don't press it anymore, if you press it again, it will be gone. Noticing Lu Yuan's gaze, Zhou Yang became angry with embarrassment and blushed, you're going to die. Hiss, why do you pinch people so easily? Don't say anything. It's not as good as me. You still said. After a fight, Zhou Yang was no longer nervous, but just stared at Lu Yuan with a red face and a rather unfriendly gaze. Lu Yuan stood up and looked around. There were quite a few people around, but he didn't know anyone. Not a single one can fight. Not long after, the casting director came in, with a flat head and a round face, looking young. Who is Zhou Yang? Follow me. Zhou Yang stood up and said, hello director, I'm Zhou Yang. The casting director's name is Yan Yi. When he saw Zhou Yang's face turning red, he comforted him, don't be nervous, take it easy. Director Huang specifically asked me to take you inside and let you play with Fan Li. Fan Li. Has Fan Li's role been decided? Zhou Yang panicked and turned his head to look at Lu Yuan. Lu Yuan shook his head at her, gesturing to quickly enter the interview. Today, his main purpose was to win the role of Shi Shi, and as for himself, he was purely trying his luck. Just made up, won't we let you in now? Why, this one is. Yan Yi noticed Lu Yuan. Hello director, my name is Lu Yuan. I'm here to audition with her today. He is also from Beijing, and we are classmates, Zhou Yang added on the side. Yan Yi saw that Zhou Yang's face was not right, and then heard that Lu Yuan came from Beijing, roughly understanding the reason. This girl must know that Fan Li has not yet chosen a good person and wants her classmates to give it a try. He looked at the two of them and then asked Lu Yuan, you're also from Beijing. Have you ever acted before? Yes, during the summer vacation, I would come to Hengdian to pick up scenes. A few days ago, I took on the filming of Detective D. Renjia 2 and had some scenes against teacher Zhang Zijian. Lu Yuan didn't say anything more specific. Whether I'm a group performer or a supporting role, I'll talk about it after I win the interview. Detective D. Renjia 2. That's right. Yan Yi remained silent for a while and said, well, let's see. Fan Li, you're out of the game, but Zhao Yang can give it a try as a role, although it doesn't take much time. Wait here for a moment, I'll take Zhou Yang in first. Okay, thank you, director. Seeing this, Zhou Yang breathed a sigh of relief and then left with the director. After the two of them walked away completely, Lu Yuan took out a book from his backpack and found relevant records about Zhao Chang. Last night, he mainly looked at Wu and Yu, and was not very familiar with Jin and Zhao Yang. 20 minutes later, Zhou Yang emerged from the audition room with a smile, accompanied by a young man with short hair. The young man is tall and thin, with a slightly dark skin tone. This person, Lu Yuan, has an impression that he played the role of Emperor Guangxu while walking towards the Republic, but he doesn't remember the specific name. Zhou Yang smiled and bid farewell to the other party, then turned around and headed straight towards Lu Yuan. How's it going? Zhou Yang squinted his eyes and said, do you know what they asked me? They asked if it was possible that if I were Shisher and had been married to Fuchai for so many years, I would eventually fall in love with him. How did you answer? I said it's certainly possible. Emotions are never reasonable. On one hand, they are for the sake of righteousness, and on the other hand, they are for protection. It's not difficult to choose between them. Lu Yuan is not sure what kind of character Shisher is in this drama, but according to Zhou Yang, the screenwriter seems to have deliberately modified it, making Shisher and Fuchai a true pair. And what do they say? The others didn't speak, and the screenwriter immediately discussed with me the reasons for the changes he made to Shisher in his script. She chattered a lot more and suddenly became a bit disappointed. The actor who played Fan Li is called Li Guangjie. The director just asked me to play against him, and I feel that his performance is just like that. If it were you, it would definitely be better than him. Lu Yuan accepted her comfort and said nonchalantly, I'm just here to try my luck. The most important thing is you. He played the role of Emperor Guangxu in the process of entering the Republic, not a newcomer. Really, I don't remember. Illiteracy. Skipping the topic, Lu Yuan asked again, are you confident in winning the role? Zhou Yang nodded, his eyes curved like crescent moon. Lu Yuan didn't know when Yan Yi would call him in for an interview, he was eager to know some information about the interviewer. Sister, don't be so happy. Tell me what kind of people are inside so that I can prepare in advance. Oh, let me tell you. Inside the house. Director Huang Jianzhong, Yuan Bin, screenwriter Zhang Jing, and producer Li Gongda are discussing behind the table. There is a sofa on the right side of the room, on which Yan Yi sits. Director Huang Jianzhong is in his 60s, with a sallow complexion, wearing a pair of black-framed glasses, and very little hair left on his forehead. In the past 2 years, when he was filming with Zhang Jizhong, he encountered a videotape incident and was exposed by an actress for a hidden rule scandal. It was not until then that the spotlight finally passed. At this moment, he looked at Zhang Jing with a hint of pride and said, this Shisher was selected by me from over 200 people. How does it fit your image of Shisher? Zhang Jing is the screenwriter of this drama. The script of King Gojin of You took him several years to polish and put in a lot of effort, so he has high requirements for the characters. In terms of image and temperament, it's good, but the acting skills are a bit inexperienced. Li Gongda, who was drinking tea beside him, heard him say this. He put down his teacup and smiled as he continued, I'm still a student. Just teach more, and besides, isn't this drama still about protecting the country? Li Gongda is a producer transferred from the National Television Drama Production Center, which is directly affiliated with CCTV, indicating the important CCTV attachés to this drama. As for Yuan Bin on the far left, he was purely trying to make up for the number of people, and as a martial arts instructor, he was pulled into a strong position. Yuan Bin said, "That's true. Recently, there have been rumors that Qin Daoming has also taken on the same role. Although Bao Guo doesn't say it verbally, everyone can see the energy in his eyes." A few days ago, the media reported that Qin Daoming, also playing Go Jian, has been confirmed as the male lead by the Crouching Salaries and Tasting Gallbladder crew. At present, Qin Daoming is known as the elder brother of the mainland, and the pressure on Qin Baoguo can be imagined. By the way, Yenny, did you just say someone came to interview Zhao Yang? Huang Jianzhong remembered what Yenny had said before when he entered the door. Yenny nodded and said, "Yes, he came with Zhou Yang, a student from Beijing University. The two of them are still classmates. He said he was still playing against Zhang Zijian in Detective D. Renjia 2, and his image was good. I thought I might as well let him try Zhao Yang. Didn't we find a suitable candidate for this role?" Huang Jianzhong felt there was no problem and looked at Li Gongda, seeing that he had no objections. So he said straightforwardly, "Then let him in and see how capable he is. New books for collection, various tickets for collection." End of this chapter. Chapter 8. Interview. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 8. Interview. Huang Jianzhong's first impression of the young actor in front of him is cleanliness. A white shirt paired with denim is a very ordinary outfit, but it looks particularly refreshing on him. He looked up and down at Lu Yuan and said, "Let me introduce myself." Lu Yuan greeted everyone and said calmly, "Hello teachers, my name is Lu Yuan. I am studying at BJ Film Academy and currently working as a special agent in Hengdian. Special appointment. Why did you from Beijing think about coming to Hengdian as a special appointment and not trying to pick up some important roles on the set?" Huang Jianzhong frowned. Other people were also puzzled. It was reasonable to say that it was okay to take on some supporting role based on their looks and education. Why should they be a group performer? Is it just poor acting skills? Lu Yuan said in a deep voice, "When I was at school, the production team invited me, but I refused all of them." "Oh, why don't you want to act or become famous?" Huang Jianzhong asked after seeing that it wasn't what he thought. Lu Yuan smiled and said, "Of course I want to act, but people need to have a clear understanding of themselves. When their abilities cannot control the character, instead of just acting recklessly, it's better to focus on improving oneself." "It's rare to be calm," Zhang Jing put down his cup and praised. "So you think you're ready now?" Lu Yuan nodded. "That's quite a good idea. Why didn't you apply for the Central Academy of Drama at that time? You violated the tradition of Beijing." Li Gongda laughed heartily, but his eyes showed a hint of appreciation. "This circle is called the entertainment industry, but it is actually a market for fame and fortune. Those who come in are all driven by fame, and enduring loneliness is not as simple as words. The Chinese opera teacher may think that my appearance is not very suitable for being a powerhouse." "You're quite humorous, come on, act something and have the freedom to play," Yuan Bin suddenly interjected. Lu Yuan was already prepared. He sat in the chair, his shoulders sunken, his eyebrows furrowed, and he looked numbly ahead. There was a faint smile on the corner of his mouth, but it made his face increasingly worried and bitter. "There's something here, was it taught by Beijing?" Huang Jianzhong sat up straight, muttering to himself. Not finished yet, Lu Yuan stood up and slowly lowered his slightly raised head, looking down at the few people behind the table with some eyes squinting slightly. The light in his eyes slowly faded, leaving behind a cold darkness. Staring at this gaze, Huang Jianzhong felt a bit uneasy. He helped the frame of the mirror, picked up his resume, and flipped through it, asking, "Have you ever cheated?" Lu Yuan withdrew his expression, closed his eyes, and when he opened them again, his gaze became clear with a smile at the corners of his eyes. He shook his head and denied, "No, but there were quite a few thugs in my family who used to be with me. I've seen many of them and they've left a deep impression. Huang Jianzhong nodded, but he didn't quite believe it in his heart. With that look in his eyes, those who didn't know thought he had committed a murder. Do you want to try the costume style? Although Zhang Jing is just a screenwriter, he can still distinguish between good and bad acting skills. He is not sure how well this young man acted, but he is definitely better than the girl who played Shisha. At this moment, Lu Yuan finally realized the feeling of his heart running away from home. There's a play. Huang Jianzhong added, well, you can go and change into a traditional costume. Director, I took over some costume dramas in Hengdian before and also filmed costume videos in my free time. Lu Yuan took out a USB flash drive from his pocket, and the video was filmed last night. Well prepared, everything was quite well prepared. Zhang Jing glanced at Lu Yuan without leaving a trace. There is a laptop on the table, the Meidi conscience card. In the video, Lu Yuan is dressed in military attire, dancing sword flowers. Not to mention, his ancient style and appearance are quite good, elegant. He is a noble young master. Looking at the clothing in the video that clearly leans towards the spring and autumn period, Zhang Jingxin said that it is indeed so. Huang Jianzhong recognized Lu Yuan's good appearance even more in his heart. So he handed over the script and said, try reciting a line. Taking over the script, Lu Yuan cleared his throat and recited in a low voice, the words from the heart of Lord Yu were also deeply moved by the foreign minister. Based on the foreign minister's humble opinion, the ability of Wu and Yu to turn enemies into friends certainly depends on the kindness and righteousness of the great king, but it is also very difficult for Lord Yu to recognize the overall situation and follow the fate. Line is a knowledge that cannot be separated from life but requires certain professional skills. It is an extremely important part of performance studies. To judge an actor's acting skills, the first thing to do is to look at their lines. Lu Yuan's lines can only be considered reasonable. In terms of dialogue, those with low requirements only need to articulate clearly, while those with high requirements focus on infectiousness. Some powerful actors can hear the voice without seeing the person, but they can automatically conjure up images in the audience's mind. Huang Jianzhong nodded slightly and discussed with a few others in a low voice before saying to Lu Yuan, okay, the general situation is already clear. You can reply first and I will notify you in a few days. Okay, thank you, Director. Lu Yuan breathed a sigh of relief and then pretended to be calmly returning to the waiting room. Suddenly, I feel that the people and things around me have become wonderful. Well, Zhou Yang is still flat. How? Zhou Yang stood up and hurriedly asked. Lu Yuan calmly said, well, I can't draw a conclusion yet, but I did my best. So what exactly is going on? Are you talking nonsense? Zhou Yang is dissatisfied. This person is really annoying. I really want to hit him. What should I do? Bite your teeth, take a look at the height difference between both sides, and compare their arms. Why is he even whiter than me? Forget it, just endure him for a while. After Lu Yuan left, a few people in the room started chatting. Huang Jianzhong said, I think it's possible. The appearance is appropriate and the acting skills are also good, especially in eye contact. Li Gongda nodded and said, indeed. Yuan Bin agreed, I think so too. Everyone looked at Zhang Jing. Zhang Jing stared at the video, frowned, and tapped his index finger on the table. After a long time, he still expressed his thoughts. I don't think it's suitable. Why? Everyone was puzzled. You see his appearance in the video, doesn't it look too young? How old is he? 20. Zhao Yang in the script is a powerful official. Based on time, he appeared at the age of 40 or 50. I won't evaluate Lu Yuan's acting skills, but his appearance is too young and I don't think it's suitable. Age is indeed a problem, but makeup can solve it. Besides, isn't Fan Li also quite young? Li Gongda retorted, feeling quite optimistic about Lu Yuan. Li Guangjie is different. His age setting in the script is youth, and several leading actors cannot all be rough old men. Do young female audiences still want to? Actually, women don't really like this type of historical drama, Yuan said as he raised his hand and interjected, feeling that the indoor temperature had dropped a bit. Hush, is the air conditioning broken? Huang Jianzhong is in a dilemma. Zhang Jing is too busy, just a small character. There are only a few scenes or 2 lines in total, how can there be so many demands? As a minor supporting role, if he can't do it, he will fall down. What a big deal. Just as he was about to speak, Zhang Jing said again. I think Chieying is very suitable for him. Li suddenly patted his thigh and said, yes, Chieying is a good choice. Huang Jianzhong began to ponder in his heart, isn't the crown prince just like Lu Yuan, elegant and dignified? So he nodded and said, I agree with the appropriate age and temperament. Yuan Bin. I think so too. Seeing everyone's agreement, Huang Jianzhong reached out and smoothed his hair on his forehead, saying, okay, then let him play Chieying. Yenny, please send him a notice. Okay. By the way, Shishir will schedule next week's Yang and let's notify together. Wanqing Street, barbecue stall. What, Gojian plays your father, and Zhao Yang and Gojian still have this kind of relationship. Zhou Yang's expression was inexplicably excited. When did Zhao Yang become the son of Gojian? Be good, is spring and autumn so chaotic? What a mess, what I mean is that in the drama, Gojian has a son named Chieying, and I play Chieying. Lu Yuan was speechless. Oh, this way, but aren't you trying Zhao Yang? Perhaps the directing team thinks that Zhao Yang's role is not very suitable for me. Zhou Yang's eyes were as bright as crescent moon, and she smiled and said, that's not bad either. I've read the script and there are quite a few plays by Chieying. You work hard, and I'll cover you up for the crew. Hey, don't grab my meat. Aren't you trying to cover me up, just like that? Zhou Yang lowered his head and remained silent. Eat less, you're playing the role of Shishir, pay attention to your figure. Shishir is in the eyes of the lover. What if you gain weight and let someone with small eyes do? You have to take care of it, I can't eat too much. It's true that you can't eat too much, said Lu Yuan calmly, indicating something. It's nothing, I'll give it to you, it's all yours. Here, there's also papaya. You need to replenish it more. How can you cover it if it's too small? Bang, Lu Yuan. Hush, sister, please be gentle. It's wrong. Zhou Yang continued to eat, his mouth not big, but he ate quite quickly, bulging on both sides like a little hamster. Lu Yuan had to stand up and ask the boss to bake more. Sitting down again, he took a sip of beer and said, are you going back tomorrow? Well, I'll leave tomorrow. What time is the ticket? If it's too early, just let me know. You. Don't give it to you. It's just that no one wants it. Look at Zhu Yan. Zhou Yang was angry, but he kept holding on to a roasted pig trotters. Ugly people are called, nobody wants it, handsome people like me are called, single. You're quite proud. Proud to the point of not being too proud, but comfortable is true. As you mean, my dog is also called, single. Well, why are you still cursing? Eating barbecue, my mouth is numb and my stomach is burning. At this moment, I take a sip of beer. Oh, it's delicious. I just feel a bit dizzy after drinking too much. Lu Yuan's alcohol tolerance was not high, and he thought he could still drink. He smiled and said, can a dog live to my age? Puff. Zhou Yang laughed out loud. Why are you laughing? You women are always thinking about love coming and going, and when you have nothing to do, you always think about going to the temple to draw lots. Is there a problem with drawing lots at the temple? If there really is love, can human Buddha become a monk? Zhou Yang wiped his mouth and tilted his head for a moment, thinking, maybe she broke up in love. Ah. That makes sense. New books for collection, various tickets for collection. Also, the inability to display comments is a problem with the starting point, and it will be restored in a few days. End of this chapter. Chapter 9. Group entry, seeking follow-up reading, you are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 9 Group entry, seeking follow-up reading, it was dusk, and the sun was like a scumbag, skillfully pulling back and forth. The sky was like a simple girl, teasing and losing her mind. Her small face sometimes turned red and sometimes yellow. Qin Palace, Lu Yuan has finished today's scene. The production team of King Gojian of Yu is about to start in Shaoxing, and he has no plans to take on any more work after today. He needs time to study the script, write character biographies, analyze the growth process and emotional changes of the character Qiying. At the intersection, Sun Peng rode his motorcycle and chased after old Chen. Lu Yuan, get in the car, brothers take you to Happy. Don't be cheap. Lu Yuan replied. Ever since they found out that Lu Yuan had taken on a big job, the two of them wanted to celebrate for him. Lu Yuan got on the car, and the back seat of the motorcycle carrying two adult men was a bit forced, so he had to push forward. Old Chen, your butt is too big, move forward. Old Chen was displeased and said, do you know what a big butt means? Does it mean using more paper to use the toilet? Old Chen shut up and silently pushed forward. A fire, this is the name of a hot pot restaurant. Hot pot is a magical thing that seems to accompany you all year round. Happy to eat, sad to eat too, old spare tire. In winter, drive away the cold, and in summer, lose weight. Well, the last sentence was said by his sister Lu Yuan. As the saying goes, eating while sweating is equivalent to not eating. Lu Yuan sometimes has to admire this woman's brain. There are quite a few people in the hot pot restaurant, making a lot of noise. Lu Yuan searched in the seasoning area for a while, but couldn't find the sesame sauce or the waiter. He had to shout loudly towards the kitchen, boss, the sesame sauce is gone. In no time, a girl came out of the kitchen. She was 14 or 15 years old, probably the daughter of the boss. The girl followed the sound and saw Lu Yuan. Suddenly, she felt a little shy, and her gaze became evasive under Lu Yuan's gaze. She replied foolishly, Mahjong. No Mahjong, can I buy you poker? Lu Yuan is speechless. Ha ha ha. The diner beside was stunned and continued to burst into laughter. This little girl is also quite cute. It seems that she realized she said the wrong thing, lowered her head, blushed, and ran back. After a while, he came out with a small bucket of sesame sauce, his ears still slightly red, and he didn't dare to look at Lu Yuan. He just covered his head and poured the sauce into the seasoning plate. Seeing her struggling to hold the bucket with one hand, Lu Yuan reached out and said, let me do it. Thank you, brother. Although shy, the little girl still blushed and thanked her. Brother, are you a celebrity? No, I'm an actor. Oh, brother, you will definitely turn red. Thank you, will it be redder than your face? Lu Yuan joked with a smile as he put on the sesame sauce. The little girl was very embarrassed and ran with small steps. Bucket, bucket. Bring the seasoning back to your seat. Old Chen witnessed everything and took the opportunity to say sourly, hey, handsome looks are just different. Actually, you're quite handsome, Chen. Lu Yuan took a bite out of the beef tripe and continued, it's just that you're a bit old. Do you really think so? Old Chen automatically ignored the last sentence. Well, handsome is handsome, but it's not obvious enough. This beef tripe is too hot, but it's not as delicious as tender ones. Old Chen. Sun Peng beside him was cheerful and didn't get involved, watching them fight each other. Here, let me raise a toast and wish Lu Yuan a bright future. Thank you, brother. Rent a house, the lights are on. In front of the table, Lu Yuan flipped through the script while writing a biography of the character Qi Ying. The biographies of characters are not as mysterious as what is rumored outside, but rather an analysis of their characteristics. These characteristics include appearance, personality, family background, upbringing environment, and the career he is engaged in. To clarify the characteristics, the next step is to refine the details of the character, which need to be added by oneself to determine whether it is appropriate. What is his purpose, his motivation for doing this, what are his weaknesses, and what are his needs? Only by clarifying these can we understand the characters and have the possibility of resonating with them. If a script is a recipe, then an actor is a chef who decides what seasoning to add, the heat, and the final taste of the dish. Excellent actors can endow characters with soul, resonate with each other, and also ignite the fire within the audience. Audiences may not be able to specifically describe what acting is, but they can definitely distinguish between good and bad. Rubbing his dry eyes, Lu Yuan opened the script. The script is not thick, about 10 pages, but the more I read it, the more I feel like I'm fucked. Lu Yuan doesn't remember the first time he found out about the King of Yu. Perhaps it was the saying, work hard, heaven will not disappoint, endure hardships, and 3,000 Yu armor can swallow Wu. The story is still that story. In the Wu Yu War, Go Jian was defeated and went to Wu to serve as a slave for 3 years. During these 3 years, he disguised himself and ultimately gained the trust of Fuchai. After returning to the state of Yu, he took advantage of Fuchai's deployment to the Central Plains and launched a counterattack, annihilating the state of Wu. Zhang Jing's adaptation of Fuchai and Shishir was somewhat unexpected. To be honest, this kind of reliance on women for the fate of a country is unpleasant. The role of Qieying that Lu Yuan wants to play is something he admires but doesn't like. Qieying is not a qualified crown prince. People always appreciate a person's simplicity, but the reality is that no one wants to become such a person. As the son of King Gojin of Yu, the state of Yu was defeated at a young age. His parents went to Wu as slaves, leaving him to live alone in the state of Yu. He is well protected by his writing style, reading and playing every day, and occasionally thinking of his parents. He grew up in Vietnam and became simple and innocent. Everyone in the state of Yu believed that when the king returned again, he would lead them to completely defeat the state of Wu. Qieying also thought the same way. In his heart, his father will always be the king who is supreme and omnipotent. Until his father, the king of Yu, returned. He thought that as the king of Yu, his father's noble bloodline would make him respected in the state of Wu. He naively believed that the state of Wu only needed a nobleman from the state of Yu as a hostage, so whether it was his father or not had nothing to do with it. He decided to exchange himself for his father. During this period, he met Duanko, who was very kind to him and told him many things he didn't originally know. Under the guidance of Duanko, he suggested to Fuchai to exchange himself for his father, but Fuchai refused. So he stubbornly begged to go to the state of Wu together, but Fuchai could only agree. My father thinks he has been used by someone and doesn't know how to do it. Duanko treats him well and he trusts him. Despite his father's dissuasion, he finally succeeded in setting foot on the territory of Wu. His dream shattered. In the state of Wu, the father was not a noble king, but a lowly groom. He couldn't accept it for a moment, he wanted to vent, but as a powerless person, he had no choice. Fortunately, when he was disheartened and met his beloved woman, he was released. That night, the guard was whispering something behind his back, and he was very curious, so he quietly approached. He heard his father distinguish the taste of grain for his husband to determine good or bad. He exploded, disregarding everything. He wants to destroy the state of Wu, kill Fuchai, wash away the shame on his father, and let the state of Wu see that the blood of the Yu man is boiling. Unfortunately, he was just a chess piece in Wu Zixu's hand, a sharp knife piercing his father. The meticulously designed assassination was a natural failure, like a joke. He didn't understand why Duanko waved his knife at him. Duanko, tell me this is not true. You're using me, and in the end, I'm just a chess piece, a fool who thinks he's right to be manipulated. My arrogance has harmed my father. I shouldn't have come, I shouldn't have naively thought I could exchange for my father. I shouldn't have come, you must be very disappointed with me, father. I shouldn't have come, I won't see you again, mother. Shaoxing Roaring Mountain Scenic Area, historically the hometown of King Yu. At the end of August, the production team of King Gojian of Yu officially opened here. This drama was co-produced by the production team and Shaoxing TV, so the opening ceremony was quite grand, and even the Shaoxing officials sent people to participate. Lu Yuan met with various leading actors, including Chen Baoguo, played by Gojian, Yu Yongji, played by Fu Chai, and Bao Guoan, played by Wu Zixu. This one is amazing. He played the role of Chow Thief in the 1994 version. These actors are all veteran actors in the industry, with only Lu Yuan and Zhou Yang being reliable newcomers. The two of them seem like huskies in a pack of wolves, appearing out of place. Lu Yuan found a corner that nobody cared about and stayed there. As for Zhou Yang, she wanted to hide, but she was Shisher and couldn't escape. Since the establishment of the production team, the screenwriter and director have never disclosed any information about Shisher to the public. The outside world is curious, and it's not worth being so anxious. But the more they are curious, the more the production team won't say anything. After finally turning on the computer, Zhou Yang couldn't even hide this time. There are many bigwigs in the production team, but the most popular one among them is naturally Chen Baoguo. He belongs to the late formation of Deqi, and a large mansion made him known by everyone. This year, the popularity of Emperor Wu of Han pushed him to another level. Ko can go, I can also go. As soon as this line was spoken, Lu Yuan felt goosebumps all over his body. How magnificent I am. Just a few days ago, Chen Baoguo won the 25th Feitian Award for his role as Emperor Wu of Han, and was honored with the title of Emperor, becoming a figure on par with Chen Daoming in mainland China. Who is Chen Daoming? The #1 male actor in mainland China. At the moment of the press conference, my goodness, 90% of the reporters in the room were rushing towards him, and the remaining 10% were either unwilling to interview or unable to squeeze in at all. It's just that Tang Yang is so popular. End of this chapter. Will there still be Emperor's Play in Chapter 10? Please follow up. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Will there still be Emperor's Play in Chapter 10? Please follow up. In front of the Yu King's palace, there are red makeup everywhere. Under the stage, the dancer wore a goose yellow long dress and a peach blossom headdress, dancing gracefully like a daisy. On both sides of the steps stood yellow triangular flags, with 5 soldiers each holding long spears. Surrounded by journalists from various channels. This left Lu Yuan, who was attending the press conference for the first time, completely bewildered. The scene is indeed stunning, and the dancer's appearance is also very beautiful. She wears a peach-colored headdress, symbolizing the peach blossoms of the roaring mountains in spring. However, what does it mean that the warriors on both sides are wearing clothes similar to tiger skin? Is it because the crew of Journey to the West filmed scenes here? Lu Yuan has always disliked such meetings since he was young, grinding and chattering about trivial matters. Can you hurry up? In this big sun, do you think you're an air conditioner and still bring cooling to that station? After finally waiting for that person to step down, we finally arrived at the long-awaited free interview session of Lu Yuan. A group of reporters rushed forward, led by a middle-aged woman dressed in a stylish outfit, holding a microphone in her hand. Lu Yuan stood tall with a smile on his face, welcoming his first interview in his professional career. Keep smiling, getting closer, Lu Yuan's facial management is perfect at this moment. The woman glanced at him and felt that the staff member was quite handsome, with a sunny and heartwarming smile. If she doesn't mind trying the tender grass on a regular basis, it doesn't matter if she falls in love with siblings. After all, siblings have a down-to-earth relationship. But not now. It was very hot, and the sunlight made her sweat all over, and her mood became irritable. She controlled her emotions and tried to appear polite, saying, "Sorry, please make way." The wind blew the ends of Lu Yuan's hair, and he moved his foot quietly, standing aside and falsely organizing his hair. "It's quite awkward." The female journalist strode straight towards Chen Baogua. Lu Yuan was envious. At this moment, Chen Baogua, surrounded by reporters, felt angry. He originally didn't like these interviews with empty heads and brainless thoughts, so it's better to calm down and think more about the characters during this time. But seeing these journalists sweating profusely outside and feeling that they were not easy, they finally agreed to be interviewed. The reporters held up their microphones and began to push and ask questions. Teacher Chen Baogua, according to reports, Chen Daoming recently officially announced his joining of the Sleeping on the Hill, and will also play Go Jian. Will this make you feel pressured? Chen Baogua had a deep understanding of this issue and said, "Of course, he is a well-respected actor." Chen Daoming said he is the most suitable male actor to portray King Go Jian of you. Do you agree? Chen Daoming and I have been good friends for many years, and I agree with his views, but at the same time, I believe I am also the most suitable person. Chen Baogua cursed inwardly. Don't you think that's contradictory? This is not contradictory. Each actor's creative personality is different, and the focus of these two scripts is also different, so these two Go Jian scripts are also different. What you mean is that these two Go Jian characters are different, but there is only one Go Jian character in history. Do you think who played them better in line with history? Chen Baogua squinted his eyes and said, "The script is an artistic process. As for who is more in line with history, it has to be asked by Go Jian himself." The reporter then asked, "During the filming of Emperor Wu of Han, you once said that you would not shoot imperial dramas again. Why did you make an exception this time?" Chen Baogua frowned and said, "Because the script is very good, this character is different from what I have played before. The narrative structure, the protagonist's emotional journey, and their position in Chinese history are all particularly typical. I think in my character gallery, Go Jian will be a brand new and moving character. As an actor, during the peak of my creative career, do you think I won't be moved by this opportunity? After this drama, will you still take on the imperial drama?" asked the reporter. "I haven't found any evidence yet." Chen Baogua is unhappy. "You're not finished yet, are you?" Turn around and change to the next journalist. "Teacher Chen Baogua, what is your opinion on winning the Feitian Award?" "That's right, this is a good journalist," Chen Baogua replied with a smile. "I feel very honored to have won the Feitian Award. I am very grateful to the judges and the audience for their affirmation of me. Will you still take on the imperial drama after this drama?" Chen Baogua. The journalist's frantic questioning caused the scene to spiral out of control, with a variety of questions ranging from good to bad, digging holes for him in an attempt to anger him. Chen Baogua really wants to escape. Is it not good to film with peace of mind? After the play is broadcasted, the audience will have their own judgment. Now, even if they say it's a flower, what's the use if it's not broadcasted? What about this scam? The audience is not blind. He admitted that since he found out that Chen Daoming had taken on the role of Sleeping on the Hill and Tasting the Gallbladder, he had been disturbed. This is not related to their friendship, it's just a competition between actors. Who hasn't pursued anything yet, who doesn't want to compete for first place? But this scene must be said, otherwise it will appear that I am not grand enough. As for saying in front of the media that they don't care about competition, hey, who believes who is foolish? In the neglected corner, Lu Yuan is tying his shoelaces. Tie the left foot and tie the right foot. These shoes were bought by his sister when he was in college. They were a bit old, but he never gave up on them. Just like love, wearing it hurts my feet, throwing it away hurts my heart. Damn it, what a terrible metaphor. Zhou Yang finished the interview, and the reporter caught her asking questions, leaving her exhausted. Find Lu Yuan and see him standing alone on the side, touching his hair and tying his shoelaces. She smiled at the corners of her mouth, lifted her skirt, and knowingly asked, "Hey, Lu Yuan, why are you here? Didn't you go for an interview?" "Ah, just finished the interview, it's not very interesting. It's better to hide and cool off." Lu Yuan hesitated. "That's right, those journalists are really annoying. I've been suffering from insomnia lately, which has caused me to get angry. I have a small pimple on my face, and he even asked me if Shisha also has pimples on her face. How do I know if Shisha has pimples? I'm so angry." As she spoke, she lifted her small face and pointed at the acne to show Lu Yuan. She frowned, probably feeling impatient, and her cheek still had some lingering redness. She said again, angry to death, "Isn't Shisha a human? Isn't Shisha eating, going to the bathroom, and sleeping? Well, Shisha doesn't suffer from insomnia. Where on earth are you standing, you?" Lu Yuan didn't answer and said, "So how did you respond to him and scold him?" "Of course I am this kind of person, I didn't dare to respond," Zhou Yanghua said in a quieter voice. Lu Yuan knew her thoughts and said, "Are you afraid he will report blindly?" "Yes, some journalists like to take things out of context. Do you think they wouldn't report blindly without saying it?" "Oh, what should I do?" Zhou Yang widened his eyes. Li Guanjie accidentally listened to their conversation and learned that they were in a group for the first time. He smiled and comforted, "Don't worry, reporters never write what you say. They only write what the audience wants to see. We just need to film well, and the fact will make them shut up." Zhou Yang felt it was very reasonable, nodded, and then frowned again. "But the fact is, I really have acne." End of this chapter.